All right, so I'm going back to this from last week. Great conversation about this, and some great things came up this week on film that I wanted to continue to build off of what we talked about last week. Okay, so remember, this play that we have is a play called popcorn. Okay, so it's a pop out here, it's a corner, and it's a flat. Okay, so we all remember this one, spacing into the boundary. I talked about release of this guy when he never threatens the Mike linebacker, plus Terrell Bernard saw this play on film, and so everything was played perfectly. Every disadvantage that Miami could have, they had. Okay, so we got this right here, and everybody remembers the interception, the big play, and what Tua shouldn't have done. Okay, so wanted to show you some other looks. Okay, so here's what we're going to have. We're going to have similar type looks. So this is going to be a quarters coverage, but quarters coverage, cover three, going to be very similar with these two guys. They're covering the whole flat area. And what you notice here is that Denver is actually on the backside hash. So they have more spacing right here on this particular play. Okay, so they're going to run corner, pop, flat. Okay, so just want you to watch how this one plays out. Okay, so it's going to be basically same thing. Okay, so this guy running the corner is going to run straight vertical, never threatens the Mike linebacker. Okay, so Bo Nix is trying to come out here and throw this because he knows that's his throw in quarters here. What happens? Boom, boom. Henley comes flying out there to cover that pop route right there. We're running the corner, which again is dead against all these zones as normal. And Bo Nix is in the same predicament, even with better spacing. And he wants to go throw it right there. Oh, can't throw it right there. Now, chaos, everything falls apart. Okay? What's the key? The key is this guy. Okay? Yes, I want to isolate the outside linebacker right here with the pop and the flat. The corner does nothing for us. If we have a corner, I need you to somehow influence this guy. So that's why I said putting him on a pop route right here gives us an advantage. Now we have 3-on-2. Putting him down the field, putting him on an in route here. So if Henley wants to push to that pop, we're going to have a spot right here. But somehow we have got to influence that underneath guy because they have 2 to our 2. Okay, cover 3, cover 4, they have the advantage to that side. So we have to do something, okay, to get 3-on-2 or to make it appear as 3-on-2. So if I see him in here running my corner route and all it does is hold off Henley enough that we get an isolation on the outside, even if I'm running a corner and I know I'm not going to get open, I get a benefit. Well, I had people tell me last week, nobody does that. They've never heard that before. Okay, so here again. So I just want you to see, what if he does this right here? Okay, so that's a play I call pop in. So we got pop corn where he goes to the corner. I got pop in where he runs it in. Henley wants to overplay that. Boom, right there. Now we're golden. And the beautiful thing about pop in is, because last week I had a lot of people tell me, well, Tua's got to see the Sam linebacker and see if he runs past the hook with the flat, and then he's got to get his eyes to the Mike linebacker. I think that's impossible. I don't think it happens too fast for that to happen. But when I run pop in, okay, the beautiful thing about this is I can read the Mike first. And so if the Mike holds inside, I know he's held inside, and I've got time to do that because I'm not worried about him now, beating me to the pop. So I don't have to get out there quite as quick. I can read him first. If he pushes to the pop, now this becomes my number one guy. If he doesn't and he is held off, and again, I like to seam this guy on all of them, whether it's a corner, whether it's an in, whether it's a pop, I like to seam him. But if that guy holds inside, now I know I've got the perfect isolation to the outside, and I'm going to beat that guy with the throw because he can only cover 1 of 2. Okay? So again, nobody does that. Okay, so here comes the Patriots, and I want you to watch this guy right here, Hunter Henry. Okay? He's running a corner route on this particular play. Watch what he does. Boom. Look what he's doing. What's he doing? He's seaming inside at the Mike linebacker. He's seaming inside at the Mike linebacker to just get his attention. Just hold him. And now we're going to run this pop combo outside of it. Okay? So it's popcorn, but look what he does to the Mike linebacker. He's attacking him right there. That's all we need. You hold him off enough. Now we get our isolation. If they'd have done this with Tua, what happens? I think he bangs him, he slows him, something, and boom, we got the completion right there. Short side, everything. But the other thing I want you to see is look where the pop ends up. This pop, instead of being 1 to 2 yards inside the numbers, is middle of the numbers to outside the numbers where his alignment is, right? Still have plenty of space to isolate this guy. It buys me 2 to 3 extra yards to be away from this guy, and we get the benefit of the seam release, holding off the Mike linebacker, and now we are golden. The other thing I love is when he attacks a little bit outside, he holds off this corner as well, because once he attacks outside and vertical, that corner thinks, hey, he's coming to me. He's my responsibility. I can't, squat my feet. I can't jump the flat on the outside. I've got to respect him coming at me. So that little burst outside buys us space, attacks the corner, isolates the outside linebacker, and then the seam release inside, boom, right there, we are golden. Everything about this play in terms of where it was lined up, the routes that everybody running is exactly the same as the Tua play. The details matter. The spacing matters. Being able to attack the biggest problem on a play matters. All of that stuff is essential to have success on this particular play, knowing that it's basically the same coverage that Buffalo gave Buffalo gave Miami, right? Dropped to cover 3, 4 guys underneath, all of that stuff. Those details made all the difference on this play, and it's wide open. I mean, it's easy. That is an easy pitch and catch on this play. Okay, so let's talk about the Patriots. Okay, really did a nice job on that one. Now we're going to run it different here. Okay, so we're going to come off, and it, in essence, becomes the same coverage. Watt's going to drop off here, but now we're going to have 2 underneath defenders. We're going to have a 3 shell there, and now the Patriots are going to run poppin'. Okay? So now we're going to read this the opposite. Okay? I'm going to read this guy first. Okay? So now I can see both of those guys. Boom. What's he doing? Okay, there he goes. He's kind of midlining it and playing both, but he gets with. There's our throw right there. And again, we got to be able to see that one first. We can't read this outside in because we've got a guy sitting here on the backside. So we've got to make sure that the in is hit on the front side. Okay, so we got to make sure the in is hit outside this hash. If we allow that in to get over to the past that hash, now it brings an extra guy into the mix. I don't want that. I want 1. I want 2 against my 3, and that's why we got to read the inside one first. I got to get back on this, and I'm ready right now. Boom. I get this guy to hold his feet. That ball's coming out. I'm hitting it right there on the hash, outside the hash, and I've got a throw, and I've got success on that particular play. And so Drake, problem here for me with Drake is Drake's reading it outside first. Okay, so, and I get it because if he was running popcorn, he has to read it out there. That's his only option. That's all he can do on that play. So he's got to read it outside. But when we go with the pop-in play, we've got to switch our read. We have got to read inside first. This guy wants to squeeze and take this away. This out here, this 2-on-1 becomes easy. We can be a little bit later. The timing doesn't have to be nearly as essential against, when we have an in as it has to be when we have a corner where we know the corner is not an option for us. So we've got to beat the Mike linebacker with the throw. On this play, I'm going to beat the Mike linebacker. He can't cover both of them. So now I'm going to read him first. So I'm on time to the end, and then he squeezes. Then I work to the outside, and I can work those two throws, and I'm going to have a completion and not a sack. Okay, and I'm going to show one more here with the Texans. Okay, so, and again, this is a whole different look that the Texans are getting, but I just want to show you, and I want to look at the concept. So I like it here because this guy is seaming just a little bit on his corner route. Okay, so I like that, again, because it's going to hold that guy off. But what I don't like is the way that the Texans run it is they run their pop route inside. And so they're making it easier on the defense. What I told you is I want this guy to go outside because, and again, they have an extra guy here. So I just want you to pretend like this guy's not here, because normally I'm not going to throw this if they've got 3 underneath defenders to this side. Okay, so like a cover 2 type look or something. We don't like it because they obviously have the advantage. But anything that we have, if there's 2 guys there, okay, what I don't want to do is I don't want my flat to be easily covered by this guy and then cut down the space that the inside guy has to cover, because we're trying to help ourselves by seaming the corner route at him to hold him inside. But now I'm going to cut down all the space by running into him right here. So we make it easy. I mean, look what we're doing here. Let me run right to you, knowing you're the problem on the play, and let me release the guy playing the flat to cover the flat, and we have nothing right here. Now, it's cover 2, so we could get a high-low out here with the corner and the flat if we wanted on this play. But my point is not really about this coverage, because to me, it's still not a play that I love against cover 2. But the point is going inside, right? I already think it's tough enough if we go straight vertical. So I like to push outside, because always asking yourself, who are we trying to throw on this play? We're trying to throw the pop on this play. Who is the one guy that can take it away more than anybody else? It's this guy. So what can I do to make it as hard as possible on him to cover it? Well, I'm going to seam this guy, because now that guy's going to hold him off. I'm going to expand my pop, so that's going to give me an extra 2 or 3 yards away from him. What I'm not going to do is I'm not going to run in there to him and, make it even tighter and make the game even easier on him to cover it, and release the flat to cover this, because when I attack the flat defender, at least I'm putting pressure on that flat defender to say, okay, does he want to hold inside and cover the pop, or does he want to push hard outside and cover the flat? I'm putting all the pressure. He is my conflict defender on that particular play. When I split, knowing that they've got 2 defenders, and I go, here, let me run into the one inside and let me run to the one outside, all I'm doing is making the game easier on the defense, and you see it right here, right? I mean, it's easy. This guy comes over 2 steps, he matches right to this. This guy sitting outside, he matches right to that. Again, we could have the corner here if we can get outside leverage on this safety and get the high-low, but not, again, the point on this particular play. It's about, what are we doing? Why are we going inside? All this does is make it easier on the defense. And again, you always got to ask yourself, okay, what advantage does this give us on this play? Going inside does what on this particular play? And I think what most people think is, oh, if I go inside here, then this flat defender will for sure go and cover the flat. And that's for sure. Like, if you go inside of him, he's definitely going to let you go, because he knows I got a guy waiting in there. And so every play, although we have a primary guy, okay, primary guy is the pop on the outside, every play is designed to get somebody open. And so the more pressure I can put on one guy with 2, the more I know somebody is going to get open. So the details of every route are designed to stay away from the biggest problem, okay, or to hold off the biggest problem and put pressure on the conflict defender the best way that we can. Run right at him. Create width so he doesn't have any help from the inside guy. Everything we're doing is to try to put pressure on the circled guy and not allow the guy in the squared to get involved in this play. Texans, again, they got all kinds of problems on offense, but Again, these are the details. Like, okay, so we're trying to throw the flat here, and what happens? The flat defender stays outside. He's not threatened by the hook. He releases him inside. Boom. Like, but CJ can't say, okay, the flat defender goes out to cover the flat. Let me throw the pop. Well, the pop ran right into the Mike linebacker. He's not open either. We got nothing. And it just becomes a blow up right there by the Jags.